Well, good afternoon. This is the business meeting of the Judicial Council of California for August 21st, 2014. Well, this time, every year in August, it brings mixed emotions because just as we welcome new Judicial Council members, we must also bid farewell to our colleagues whose service on the Judicial Council after years is drawing to a close as their terms end. And to put what the Judicial Council of California and our members do for the people of California in perspective, I like to quote, as you know, from the ballot measure that was overwhelmingly approved by the voters, which ultimately led to the creation of the Judicial Council in 1926. It illuminates the context and the need for the council. So the quote begins, "One of the troubles with the court system is that the work of the various courts is not correlated, and nobody is responsible for seeing that the machinery of the courts is working smoothly. When it is discovered that some rule or procedure is not working well, it is nobody's business to see that the evil is corrected. But with a judicial council, whenever anything goes wrong, any judge or lawyer or litigant or other citizen will know whom to make complaint. And it will be the duty of the council to propose a remedy." So we as Judicial Council members are responsible. It is our business. It is our duty to propose a remedy. And each year, to get to that remedy, the council relies on the knowledge and service of hundreds of justices, judges, commissioners, referees, court professionals, attorneys, and justice system partners to do our work and accomplish our goals. I'm very pleased to be able to offer my sincere and deepest gratitude and the council's gratitude to dedicated, active public servants who have done their public duty and more for council in addition to their day jobs. So after 5 years of public service, Judge Marianne O'Malley. After 4 years of public service, Judge Stephen Baker, Judge Terry Jackson. After 3 years of public service, Commissioner Sue Alexander, Ms. Angela Davis, who couldn't be here today because of a hearing short set. She sent her regards in an email, hopes to be here tomorrow. Mr. Mark Robinson, Mr. David Yamasaki, and after a 1-year term that I'm sure felt like 3, Judge Robert Glessman and presiding Judge Brian Walsh. And as a small token of our appreciation and a symbol of the importance and significance of your role as a Judicial Council member of our independent, co-equal branch of government, you've received a copy of the Federalist Papers. And one quote particularly resonates with me. It's from Federalist number 22, Alexander Hamilton, quote, "Laws are a dead letter without the courts to expound and define their true meaning and operation," end quote. Thank you for your service to the people of California, the cause of justice, your attention to detail, your many phone calls, meetings, your innovative ideas, your goodwill, your humor, your tenacity, and your vision for a better California for everyone. You all serve to improve the administration of justice, and all of you enhanced access to justice for all Californians. And I know that even though you may not be on council physically, you will be with us in spirit in your continued service on advisory committees and teaching, and all that you did before you came to council and will continue to do. I think we will have an opportunity to meet with all of you later, but I'd like to salute you all with a round of applause. To our incoming new council members joining us today, we welcome the addition of your talents and expertise. Responsibility, business, and duty await you at our next council meeting. We thank you in advance for your service. Before we begin with our regular agenda that will start with approval of the minutes, etc., I would like to acknowledge this opportunity the positive working relationship that we've developed with our colleagues in the Department of Finance in recent years. The lines of communication have been open, our disagreements have been on the merits, and it's always been with the opportunity to continue to exchange information back and forth. We may disagree, but it's never been disagreeable, and we appreciate that. We've invested a lot of time and effort in both of the relationship going both ways in our relationship building, and I believe it's helped our branches of government understand each other in the state budget process, and I believe in their understanding of how the branch does business. I thank Mr. Michael Cohen, Director of the California Department of Finance, for presenting to us later this afternoon as we continue this process of cooperation, collaboration, information exchange, and knowledge sharing. So the first thing on our business meeting, according to our agenda, is the approval of our minutes. It's the minutes of our July 2nd and July 29 meeting. I know you've all had an opportunity to review those minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Right here. Motion, Judge Jacobson.
Thank you.
McCabe, second.
Thank you, Judge McCabe. Approved. Thank you. Next on the agenda is my regular report as Chief Justice to the Council, summarizing my engagements and ongoing and outgoing outreach activities since our last meeting. I had 4 major engagements since July 29. They could be grouped into 2 broad categories: outward public engagement and internal branch engagement. And they reflect 2 of the roles the Chief Justice of California wears hats as the head of our judicial branch. So the first 2 engagements also is related to what I believe is a Chief Justice's responsibility to act as a convener on issues impacting not only our courts but also our communities. So the 5th annual Safe Schools Conference in Garden Grove brought together 600 K-12 school leaders and educators and law enforcement officials and district attorneys. They discussed the link between school safety, learning, attendance, higher test scores, and also keeping kids in school and out of court. And this was a goal, I think, very much in keeping with our initiative of keeping kids in school and out of court. Suspensions, expulsions, truancy, and chronic absenteeism are linked to academic failure, but they're also a path to the juvenile and possibly the criminal justice system for many school kids, as many of us know in our professional careers, either as prosecutors, defense attorneys in the juvenile justice system, or judges in the juvenile justice system. We also know that school discipline issues impact our courts, and there are also highly disproportionate rates of suspension for students of color, particularly African American and Native American students. So I was glad to be able to participate in a question and answer session on these experiences, my interest in keeping kids in school through civic engagement, and my commitment to civic learning. Civic learning was the key theme in Sacramento when the California Task Force on K-12 Civic Learning presented its final report to me and State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Torlakson. You'll have an opportunity to hear more about the report on our agenda later today from Administrative Presiding Justice Judith McConnell and Superintendent Dave Gordon. And I'm sure they'll tell you that this idea about the civic initiative arose from a judicial council initiative called the Commission on Impartial Courts, and how important civics understanding is to the judiciary that relies on the public trust and confidence of the people. But let me say now that I believe it was an extraordinary effort by the task force and all those involved to accomplish so much in such a short time frame. The event in Sacramento was attended by a number of state legislators interested in this issue, Senators Hannah Beth Jackson and Mark Weiland, and Assembly members Roger Dickinson and Jimmy Gomez. Also attending were students, teachers, and school administrators from throughout California, representatives from the California State Board of Education, the Public Policy Institute of California, California State University San Marcos, California School Board Association, the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, members of the media, and members of the bench. The Power of Democracy Steering Committee now has a powerful tool in this report to realize the implementations and recommendations of it. In Rancho Cordova, I addressed 2 of the Judicial Council's important advisory committees at their statewide business meeting, the Trial Court Presiding Judges Advisory Committee and the Court Executives Advisory Committee. We discussed there the July 29 Judicial Council meeting that we had, and also Judicial Council member Presiding Judge Brian Walsh and also David Yamasaki facilitated a very lively question and answer session. We have strong, passionate, and intelligent leaders in our judicial branch, and together we can advocate for and advance our causes, including adequate, ongoing, and stable funding for our branch. And when we coordinate our efforts, we're able to succeed. When we act at the local and statewide level, we accomplish even more in the future. The future was part of the theme in the San Jose Hotel at the Bernardi Whitkin Judicial College. We have the president, or the dean of the Judicial College here is one of our incoming members, Judge Marla Anderson out of Monterey. 72 new judges and commissioners, as well as a newly confirmed appellate justice, Justice Terry Stewart from the 1st DCA attended, and a number of Judicial Council members, as well as Judicial Council staff, in a very collegial environment that was created by our CJUR in our Judicial Council staff. It was an opportunity to review our branch accomplishments and our need to support physical, remote, and equal access, including language access that we'll get later on an update tomorrow. It was also an opportunity to ask for volunteers from the ranks of brand new judges and commissioners to be the future members of our internal and advisory committees, task forces, and working groups, and this Judicial Council. That concludes my report to the Council.